What's up everybody, my name is Tiger Nemesis. Today I'm actually bringing you something I've never done before. I'm doing 100 tips for Blackout, so you guys can go ahead and watch them. So I'm just gonna shut up. Let's roll the clips! This one's pretty obvious but not obvious, but plan out your drop in the pregame lobby by accessing the map to see the flight path before you start your game. Once you're in the chopper, drop out immediately once you get the chance. Most areas on the map are actually accessible from the beginning of your flight path because you can probably go around halfway across the map just from the beginning of the drop itself. When you're dropping, aim straight down until you hit around 55 miles per hour, then straighten all the way out. You should be going at approximately 66 miles an hour. If you're not landing in the hot zone, aim for a building's rooftop. That way you will know you'll find a weapon once you get there. Pick up all ammo since it doesn't take up any inventory slots at all, and this will actually help you for your preferred gun that you pick up later. Try to remember the ammo type for your two favorite guns so you prioritize those ammo types in tight situations. For example, I love the Maddox, and I remember the ammo type by remembering the key phrase MAD 56, Maddox 56 556. Pick up all health packs and sort out which ones you don't want when you're safely in a building. Prioritize attaching any gun attachments first instead of picking them up into your inventory to save inventory space. All enemies can hear you picking up items using health packs and unzipping enemy backpacks. When playing in duels or squads, when looking at an item, if you open up your dialogue menu, you can actually call out and highlight any item to your teammates by pushing the down button in the dialogue menu itself. Any emotes or callouts can be heard by all players nearby, friendly or not. Use the rocket launchers. This is such an underrated weapon but incredibly useful in good situations. Keep short sights on SMGs and longer scopes on DMRs and assault rifles. An ideal layout consists of one short to mid-range weapon and the secondary being a mid to long-range weapon. For example, my preference is having one SMG with a short sight and an assault rifle with a 2x scope and above. Depending on your preference, I would suggest keeping your two weapons with two different ammo types. That way you aren't screwed for both guns when you run out of ammo in a tight situation. Only shoot at an enemy when you're fairly certain you will get the kill or down. Doing so otherwise not only gives your position away to everyone nearby, but it endangers you if your enemy has better guns. Silencers are a complete game changer. Always use these over long barrels because silencers give you such an advantage. Crouch walk at all times unless you need to run or move faster. Walking and running make your footsteps louder. In duels or squads, if you have a mic, use it. Alert your teammates of important circumstances. Like, that you're going into their building so they don't actually shoot you. When using concussion grenades, try to detonate them as close as possible to your target. Doing so will increase your chances of it affecting the enemy. Remember, watch your hit markers to ensure that you actually got a hit. Concussion grenades have a time span effect of about 5 to 9 seconds, blinding your enemies. So always assume the shorter fuse is what blinds your enemy and prepare for them to be ready in that amount of time. Cook grenades before you throw them and adjust the cook to the distance of your target. Bottom line, make sure you practice this so that when your grenade gets close to the target, it instantly explodes, leaving them no room for escape. Not a very common opinion, but use your trauma kit immediately when you grab one. Regardless if your health is at 150, that extra 50 HP could save your life. Plus, if you die, you make your enemy more powerful because they will end up picking it up anyways. Prioritize lone wolfing enemies in duels or quads. Lone wolfing is the act of completely downing and killing a member from one enemy team. This obviously decreases the other player's chances of actually winning. Do not let them live. Landing in zombie areas is always a gamble, but has a high chance of good reward out of the mystery box if you survive and kill all of the zombies. When using the grappling hook to get atop of rooftop, spam the hell out of the jump button once you reach the edge of the building. This will give you a higher chance of not falling off accidentally and taking damage, even if you short fire your hook shot. Reload as often as possible. Known commonly as a tactical reload, this will save your ass from a tight situation. Every bullet counts. When playing duels or squads, stick together. Don't go out by yourself without informing your team, because more often than not, your ass is gonna get killed and now you have to sit on your mountain of salt and watch your teammates for the rest of the match. When you're in a vehicle driving, if you hear the lock-on beeps, jump the hell out. The fall damage will be less than the rocket damage if it happens to hit. If a rocket locks on and hits when you're in a quad bike or a boat, you are gonna die instantly. Trucks and helicopters can actually take 2 hits before exploding. Your quad bike can actually take 3 full impacts before exploding. The 3 levels are normal, smoking, and on fire. You will hear an audio cue for each damage level that your bike is currently in. If it's on fire and you crash into a wall, you're gonna die. When you're underwater, go up for air every 6 to 8 strokes. around the time when your character gasps for air for the first time. When escaping enemies or evading uncommon fire, zigzag in the water when coming up for air. Never swim in a straight line. Use the jump and crouch buttons to control your level in the water. Do not aim where you want to swim. This will help you breathe and keep sights on the enemy when you're in an underwater battle. In duels or quads, enemies will instantly die in the water instead of going down if their teammates are still alive. In duels or quads, be descriptive but short with your enemy callouts. Don't just say, he's behind the tree in front of me. Instead say, he is near the skinny tree at marker 134, I'm flanking him to my right. In duels or squads, alerting a teammate of the position of an enemy in regards to your teammate's position is better. For example, if I see the guy north of me but he's west of my buddy, I'm gonna tell him, hey dude, there's a guy west of you. This one is a little bit obvious, but when you're healing, you can actually invoke your running while you're healing. When you're getting sniped, zigzag, slide, and randomly turn wildly in the direction of cover while healing if necessary. Never flee in a straight line. If you're in a zombie area, don't waste your preferred ammo on zombies. Instead, pick up a gun with the ammo type that you're not gonna use to dispose of the zombies. If you happen to come across a Bowie knife near the zombies area, use this instead to clear out the zombies quieter. Be careful with the zombie hits, they can actually take quite a bit of damage away from you. Damn. Use your grappling hook while underwater to quickly zip through the riverbed floor. Monkey bombs can stack up to 5 items in one slot. Monkey bombs are just like mesh mines, except the detonation time is approximately 5 seconds, so use them in areas of interest to alert you of incoming enemies. You can use your sensor dart on RC cars, quads, trucks, and choppers to alert you of nearby enemies. You can use your run button while controlling an RC car to get a quick boost to speed. You can switch seats while riding a quad bike and a helicopter without needing to get out first. Use this to your advantage to save valuable seconds. If you're really far from the circle and the collapse hits you, don't freak out and don't assume you're gonna die. Make all attempts to find a vehicle and go. If you picked up enough health items by now, you should have a good chance at making it in the circle. Always check your map every time you hear the announcer state that there's a new collapse or a circle and plan accordingly. In duels or quads, if possible and you are in direct danger, mark enemy positions on your map with your marker for your teammates. This will give them a more approximate location rather than using a call out. For duels and quads, share a common nickname to buildings you always like to drop at. This way you don't need to give a compass directional number or mark a building on a map. Your teammates will know the building by name. If you like to carry multiple scopes for different occasions, change them with your inventory menu rather than dropping them on the floor and equipping them. You will avoid giving away your position because enemies can hear you equipping attachments after you drop them. Unless you're close to mid-range away from an enemy you're about to shoot, always use controlled bursts instead of firing non-stop. Not only will you conserve ammo, but you will have a higher chance of your bullets hitting your target. Building windows have 3 stages to them: normal, cracked, and completely broken. If you shoot one bullet into a window that is intact, it will completely shatter by itself. Use this to your advantage to trick enemies into thinking you just jumped into a building that you aren't even near. Don't ever stay in one position for long. Always assume there is a sniper somewhere looking at you. Don't give them a free kill by standing still. Always go for the headshot when sniping an enemy that doesn't know about you yet. Like I said before, don't shoot an enemy unless you're going for a surefire kill. If you've made it to the final circles, try your best to stay indoors. Otherwise, you have a higher chance of being sandwiched between 2 other players or teams. Don't ever go prone for any reason. It takes you a longer amount of time to move or to stand back up if things go bad, and by the time you do get up, you're going to get injured, down, or killed. Crouch instead. If you're near the boxing ring area south of Rivertown and you find yourself in a bad situation in the water, swim toward the bottoms of the boats to get air. Enemies will have a tougher time finding you and you can take a breather, literally. The 3 larger warehouses in Turbine have high catwalks on them. Reach them by using the ladders or grappling hooks. If you seem to have a constant issue where you're dying by the collapse all the time, try landing near the center of the map. This will give you a significantly higher chance of making it towards the next circle since you will have the best chance of getting there first. Try practicing your grenade throwing skills in multiplayer if you need it to always get the correct trajectory you need in Blackout. It makes a huge difference knowing that you're confident in using all types of grenades and that your aim is dead on. Nuketown's islands actually have 4 entrances and a lot of goodies, but always remember that a high reward comes at a high risk. Crouch walk when you're down here and always assume there's an enemy in the next area. Corner camping has always plagued Call of Duty and Blackout is no exception to this. Towards the final circles, assume that there's enemies in the buildings that you're about to enter and seriously check your corners. If you land at the zombie diner directly west of Array and enemies land with you, turn on the jukebox, which is on the south part of the building, to mask your movements while you're searching for items. The only caveat to this is that, you won't be able to hear them either. When using a quad bike or a boat, again, zigzag at all times to avoid getting shot or sniped. Also, to add to that, when you're using a quad bike, always prefer to drive on the bumpy areas with hills and trees instead of wide open areas and roads. This will help you avoid any missiles from enemy rocket launchers easier, or at least give you a higher chance of the rocket hitting a hill instead of hitting you. If you have the perfect setup already, do not raid bodies unless you're in desperate need for ammo or meds. Not only are you giving away your position away by picking up and switching attachments, but you will essentially give the enemy that kills you your items more easily. This will take some practice, but if you're in an open area or near a window and are raiding an enemy's backpack, move constantly while searching their backpack to avoid getting sniped or shot. If you're near a set of buildings that have rooftop access, prioritize entering the building that has a rooftop which you can only access from within the building. This will help you avoid a really sneaky enemy going to your rooftop from the outside. Close all doors at all times. This will help you tremendously when an enemy enters your building because you can identify what part of the building they're in. Closing all the doors in the building also gives the illusion to enemies that your building hasn't been raided yet, and they will enter it blindly, giving you the advantage. Using the looter perk actually has a bonus thing that you can use. You'll actually be able to see the items in the buildings and if they're being picked up in real time, giving away an enemy's position solely based on the item disappearing from your point of view. In a building with a garage door and windows, go through the windows instead of opening the garage door. Enemies will identify the building you're in easier if you open the garage door. Since most buildings have windows, the preferred entrance I suggested is better and faster. Obvious by nature but not so obvious, don't jump off of 2 or 3 story buildings. Just run off of them. If you really have to, don't do a pre-jump beforehand. When jumping from a high height, hold the jump button to deploy your wingsuit, otherwise your wingsuit might not deploy. Jumping over a railing at a high height will stop your wingsuit from deploying even if you're holding the jump button. Go towards an open area instead to jump. If your enemy is hiding behind a tree and you have a grenade, throw the grenade on either side of the enemy behind him and assume that they will run in the opposite direction. Ambush that direction that you're assuming they're going to run towards. Besides possibly getting injured with a grenade, they will also meet a lot of your bullets when they run away from it. Keep in mind that the character that you choose to play as has different camos available. Remember that if you choose a more colorful camo, you will stand out more in dark and grassy areas. Assume that you're being silently followed at all times. This way you will always be checking your surroundings and behind you constantly. When you're running, jump every 2 to 3 seconds. Not only will it mask your footsteps for the time being, but you move a tad bit faster for doing so. If you're going downhill, try sliding instead. You have a longer slide to get down the hill faster than you would if you kept running. When you're using the rocket launcher, once you lock onto an enemy vehicle, jump right before you're about to shoot. That small height boost may be the slight difference in getting the kill instead of hitting a hill. In duels and quads, offer items that you don't need or have excess of to your teammate. Remember that the more balanced your team is, the better your odds are at winning that elusive chicken dinner. Also in duels or quads, ask your teammates or remember the gun preferences and help them get the items they need, such as sniper scopes for your sniper teammates. Remember, being cohesive with your team increases your chances of whooping ass altogether. Once again, in duels and squads, identify an enemy position and sync up aiming and shooting at the enemy at the same time. That way you both have different angles and double the firepower against that enemy you're about to shoot at. Grenades have a blast radius that penetrates through doors. Use this towards your advantage if you know where the enemy is but don't want to risk opening a door or heading inside a building. Place a square of mesh mines around a land vehicle you think will be used to get an unintended kill minutes after you placed it. Place connected mesh mines in a straight line through a road or street that you know will get traffic. Again, you may get an unintended kill minutes afterwards and you're gonna laugh your ass off again. If you must cross a bridge and you know that you're probably gonna get shot at, run along the railing on either side. If you do end up getting shot, you can jump off and dive into the water and heal as you sneakily swim away. Know your enemies from a good position with your RC car by driving it towards their direction and beeping non-stop. This will alert enemies to this dude's position and it's just funny as hell to do. You know what? Add a beat to your honks just for added fun. Tomahawks are underrated. Practice them using for a quick and awesome kill. Also to add to that, if you manage to headshot an enemy or kill them with the tomahawk, their armor stays undamaged since you didn't shoot it off. Keep this in mind in tight situations with little armor availability. In duels and quads, if you know that one of your teammates is better than you with a specific gun, offer to give it to them. Unless you want to practice and get better at it, make your team stronger and use what you know best. If you're jumping from a high height and have a grappling hook, aim at the floor below after you jump. Use it right before you hit the floor to avoid any and all damage. In duels and quads, if you're near a downed enemy, melee him to finish him off instead of shooting at him. You will conserve ammo and silently get the sweep. Again, in duels and quads, finish off a downed enemy quickly, because if this enemy has a mic, they're probably giving intel to their teammates as to the whereabouts of your position. Physically hitting an enemy with a monkey bomb, concussion grenade, or explosive grenade actually takes quite a good amount of damage off of your enemy. And lastly, this is number 100. Assume that the enemies that you're playing against might might have also seen this video and know all the things you may not have known about through the course of this video as well. Alright everybody, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like the video if you guys did like it. Comment on your guys' favorite part, if you guys like the specific one, or if you guys are contradictory to another one. Please leave the comments down below. Also subscribe if you guys like the video and check out the other videos I have too. That's pretty much it. Take care guys. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. That's pretty much it. Take care. Peace.